What's good, guys? Ken here, and you are listening to episode number 29 of the Flight Time Podcast. I've got Billy Kyle with me. I don't know. He's dodged me a lot lately. Oh, you're here? Okay, good. Just making sure. I'm messing with you, bro. I bailed on you last night.
Every time we sit down to record a podcast, Ken is like, I got to do this. I got to do that.
Bro, life is busy.
So today we want to talk about remote ID. And was that our last podcast topic? Let's see. I don't have it up in front of me again.
I don't think it was, but you know what the problem is though? Like, you can talk about remote ID multiple times, and it's changing every single time we talk about it, because as we near this March 2nd date, companies are scrambling to sort of, like, I don't know, maybe entice the FAA to say, like, hey, look, we have a solution. And it's primarily DJI right now.
Yeah, and I feel like just in the conversation we had before we recorded this, you have some negative thoughts against remote ID. And
I do.
I think that I do as well, and I think that just the aim that DJI and the FAA in general are taking at this is not the right one. Now, something that sort of stirred this up was a video that DJI uploaded to their channel. I'm on their channel right now on YouTube. Just going to their videos. Solutions for the drone age, DJI drone to phone broadcast remote ID. Now, this has 96,000 views. And if we go and check the ratings, 1.2 thousand likes and 6.5 thousand dislikes. Wow. Okay, the last time that I saw it actually had more likes than likes. I did check this out beforehand, but I didn't know it had this many dislikes.
Oh yeah, they're getting lit up. And here's what I would stress to pilots right now is that if you're taking the time to go over there to dislike the video, make sure you're also taking the time to go leave comments. I left my comments. I mean, it's just really simple. Just sort of give your thoughts on it, why you are, not for it, and possibly suggest a solution if you have a solution in your mind. Be sure that you are not copy and pasting. But yeah, so that video went live last week, and when I saw it, man, I sort of snapped inside, because I just, one, I couldn't understand the complete oversight on their part for pilot privacy, and why they would have thought at any point it was okay to say that you would allow anybody. They got a picture of an old lady. Like, there's a video of an old lady being able to track somebody. Like, one, it's never going to happen.
Oh my gosh. That was that was so ridiculous. The fact that they showed that. Like, she's looking out of her window and she's like, oh, there's a drone. Let me pull out my phone. First of all, how many people do you think are actually going to know that this app exists? There's going to be like a handful of people.
Probably not many at all. Like, not many at all if you ask me. I mean, but it's one of those things where, I mean, there's always the possibility, like in software, I never worry about the exceptions. I usually worry about the rule, but a lot of times the exceptions are usually the things that come back and bite me in the ass. Like, the things that I never would think would happen to a client all of a sudden happens, and I'm like, crap. There's like a 2% chance something bad could happen, and of course it happens. That's Murphy's Law, though.
Yeah.
But I don't know. My fear is, like, I think back, like, we're flying in Philadelphia a lot of times, and not every city's a bad city, and Philadelphia's a great city, but there's parts of the city where
some parts are good.
Some parts are good, some parts are bad. Same here in Tampa. But the last thing we'd want to be doing is flying and have some people roll up onto us because they knew we were in an isolated area. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, so here's the thing, right? They uploaded that video, 6.2 thousand dislikes. I'm looking at a video they uploaded today. Today is February 24th. This video is a couple of hours old now since it's been uploaded. It has 607 likes, 226 dislikes, and this is basically showing off DJI's Arrowscope system. It's kind of like a briefcase where you plug a a Crystal Sky monitor into there, and then when you open up the DJI Go app, it actually says that, like, the Arrowscope platform is what you're connecting to. So you tap on that, and then it gives you the ability to see all these drones in the area. Now, I'm not sure if there's any hard specs on this yet. Like, how far can it reach? What types of signals is it looking for? Like, is this like, does this run off of battery? There's a lot of things up in the air right now, but this is something that not every drone pilot is going to buy. This is something that a prison might buy. This is something that a law enforcement agency might buy, because I'm sure that this is going to cost tens of thousands of dollars. And who's to know if it only works with DJI drones? Maybe it doesn't work with other drones. I mean, here's the thing. Out of everything that DJI has proposed, I understand that they're trying to offer a cost-free solution to remote ID, but the fact that you can see where the drone operator is absolutely stupid. You should not be able to see where that person is under any circumstances.
I 100% agree. I don't know, again, I don't know at what, junction in the road that they thought that would be okay. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really understand that philosophy. Like, I don't understand of why they thought it would be okay to broadcast the ID of anybody unknowingly,
think about
to anybody. And here's the other thing too is, I made the mistake of saying too, law enforcement needs that. Bullshit. Law enforcement doesn't need that. Nobody needs to know what you're doing unless you do something wrong. Does a cop need to know why I'm going to the grocery store? No, they don't need to know why I'm going to the grocery store. Nobody needs to know anything unless I commit a crime. Now, I get it. We're dealing with airspaces, but how many accidents have we had that involve a commercial airliner or any airliner for that matter with a drone?
I know. And how ridiculous is it? Like, within the DJI Go app and the DJI Fly application, they have the areas around these airports locked down. So if I took any of my DJI drones out onto the tarmac of PHL, I can't take off. There's no way around that. And being only allowed to fly up to 400 feet, these commercial airliners aren't above 400 feet at all outside of that red circle. And outside of even the blue circle. I mean, they're almost about to touch down when they're 400 feet. 400 feet in the air for them is like, they're so close to landing. So I think to bring up a counter argument to your point, right? You're thinking to yourself, well, what are they thinking by broadcasting the pilot's location? Well, in their mind, because they're a company that creates drones and they're not like an individual that flies drones, they think, well, okay, let's give everybody that information so that if that person is doing something wrong, they can then be found. But like, for everybody, it ruins it for everybody else who is doing things properly. Here I am flying my very expensive drone off of Ray Street Pier, my locations being broadcasted, and now I have people that are either coming up to me and asking me questions, or they want to take my stuff. That's probably the biggest concern.
Right. I agree with that. And see, there's two sides to the coin. Like, some people are like, well, you need to have, we got to compromise. Like, there's got to be something. We can't have our cake and eat it too. And no, that's not the case, because if you give an inch, they're going to take a mile. That's not how this works.
Yeah, here's my compromise. My compromise is, okay, you want to see where the drone is in the sky, that's fine, because I understand that there are certain people in manned aircraft really that need to know where these drones are. I understand, because they are hard to see, and sometimes in congested airspaces where you're flying lower, these drones do pose a threat. So like with ADS-B, I think that is an incredibly smart idea. But for somebody who is on the ground and is just like walking down the street, why do they need to know if there's a drone 400 feet away that's not even in their vicinity? And I'm reading this person, their comment on the Arrowscope thing, talking about how they're a minor and they're going to be scared to fly with people tracking him, and that he just doesn't want to fly at all. I mean,
so think about that as well. We're dealing with COPPA, right? And the whole blowback between YouTube. So how is the FAA going to technically be allowed to get around that? Because it doesn't matter. The FCC doesn't care what type of information it is. If it's information and it's a minor, it's information. So it doesn't really matter what type of information it is. So it's, there's a catch-22 that maybe they haven't even thought about, is that they're potentially going to be violating COPPA. I know it's a silly thing to even bring up, but I mean it's factual, because that is a law that went into effect. I mean, what did it go into effect? I mean, January 1, that you weren't allowed to disclose minors' information again. And I know it's all anonymized, because that's what people will bring up. They'll be like, well, you really don't know, it's like a license plate. Let me tell you, I can find, what I can get off of a vehicle's license plate with the software company that I work for? I can find somebody's address. I can find out everywhere they've taken their vehicle. I mean, I can find out a lot of information. So license plates fallen into the wrong hands can be, dangerous if somebody wants to pursue who that license plate belongs to. Why do you think that most law enforcement officers don't have their vehicle publicly registered with the DMV? Why do you think Steve Jobs, in California, if you bought a car every year, you didn't need a license plate? So why do you think he never paid? He always bought his cars outright and bought a new car.
Well, so I think that the story behind that was because I heard that he always bought the same Mercedes Benz, and he didn't want to put a license plate on it because he thought it ruined the design aesthetic of it. So I don't know exactly why he did it.
Can't fault him for that, dude.
I know, right? I mean, think about it with Apple.
I mean, that's just a boss thing to do, really.
Here's the thing, is I feel like it went from ADS-B being the thing that DJI was really going after, and how it would help the airspace, because of course these manned pilots or these manned aircraft need to know where drones are at. They're small. I understand that they probably think that they're pesky just because they are so small, they're hard to see. So it started out with this, like with manned aircraft being able to see where our drones are at, which is okay. I am all for that. I have ADS-B within the Mavic 2 Enterprise. I've used it through there, and I think it's really good, although it only shows like commercial airliners that are just so incredibly high that it doesn't even matter really if I'm flying a drone in an area, because it'll show airliners that are, over 10,000 feet high, and it'll say like, oh, aircraft approaching, but then you look and you're like, my drone is not even close to it. But look, ADS-B, if it's deployed and if it's put into DJI drones, and then also if it's put into all manned aircraft, that's just going to make the lives of so many people so much easier. But it's like they're taking it a whole step further with remote ID. It's just something that I really didn't even anticipate happening. In fact, you brought up the license plate thing. I remember when I first started my channel back in like 2016, now it's 2020, 4 years later, I made a video about the drone digital license plate. And I understand, if there's a certain amount of information you can receive from that digital signal, okay, but how much information are they going to share? Just like you said, is my address going to be publicly available? Is my first name, my last name, my phone number going to be publicly available?
And my thing is, are they going to be actively scanning that? Like, are they going to be actively looking for information or, data? Because right now, let's say, I saw a video today from a YouTuber flying over the Strip. It's a poker vlogger. He was in Vegas, flying over the Strip, and I'm just like, I commented to him like, dude, that's a no-fly zone. I probably wouldn't do that. I've seen people get fined for that, which we have $20,000. So, I'm just wondering, like, if you committed an infraction, are you going to get a fine in the mail? I mean, how so there's a lot of unknowns in that regard that people are just genuinely concerned about, because that's something that you don't necessarily want to have to contend with if we're flying. We want to go fly. We want to know that you still have the freedom. And the other thing that bothered me too with what DJI said in their initial video is that they want to put the accountability on the pilot. Okay, but then you're put in this system that becomes almost like a nanny cam in a sense into the drones. And I think another thing too is people get it twisted. DJI doesn't care. They don't care about us. They're just trying to get ahead of the fact that they just had 800 crafts grounded. 800 government crafts grounded. And if they are the only one that can implement something to get remote ID going, what are these companies going to do? Well, guess what? They're going to have to fall back on their laurels and say, well, hey, DJI has a solution. We have to use DJI. So I think part of it's, marketing strategy for them. And the other half is, they're just trying to save face.
Now, I want to bring a glimmer of hope into this whole situation. It's been all negativity up until this point. Drone Valley uploaded a video about like the good things that could come from.
Did you watch it though? Did you watch the video?
So I didn't, and it's not
did.
because okay. So tell me what you thought of it.
I was just wondering at the end of it if there was any Kool-Aid left, because I was really thirsty. But no, it's just, you watch it. He says some good things, but it's also, he made some missteps. Like, okay, you got friends at DJI. Well, don't say it almost seemed forced. Like, hey,
yeah.
Hey Rick, can you do a video like this for us? I don't want to accuse Rick of that because I know him personally, but it just something didn't sit well with me about that. You know what I mean? Nothing about this sits well. And again, this goes back to if you take an inch, if you give him an inch and you give in at all, you're always going to be given in. And I can just think of how many times we've had to bend to adversity. Think about when drones first became a thing. The FAA was trying to figure out a way to regulate them. They implemented the 107 back in, what was it? I believe it was 2016, 2015. They implemented the 107.
Yes.
It was a total cash grab. They got our money. You have to certify. We didn't have to do that, but if there was enough opposition at the time, the 107 and that regulation may not have been what it is today if there was enough opposition. So here we are with remote ID, and we'll have to see how that goes.
So my reasoning for bringing up Rick's videos, because I popped on real quick to see the likes and the dislikes, just because I wanted to know what the general consensus was. 424 likes and 66 dislikes. So again, that's more dislikes than Rick would usually get on a video. And
it is.
And then you look at DJI's video with 6,000 dislikes and 1,000 likes, and you see.
But how many views are on that video from DJI? Was it
96,000?
All right, so 96,000 to 7,334 views. Now, if I go and look at my video, which has similar views to Rick's, so similar views.
And you had a negative approach towards it, correct?
And I had more of an approach that was just like, I'm not for it, and I'm not gonna pretend that I am, because I'm just genuinely not okay with it at all. And my videos, I get hammered with dislikes. You know what I mean? Like I get
you do.
So I have 420 likes, 20 dislikes.
Yeah, so look, my whole point of bringing this up, and it's kind of getting back to what I said, how I said the glimmer of hope. I don't know how many comments are on the remote ID thing for the FAA. Ken, I don't know if you have that readily available.
It was last time I checked, it was at 22,000.
Wow.
The last time I checked, so 22,000. But it's wow, but it's not like wow, because think of how many pilots there are. But there are so many that don't know this exists, though.
I know, but here's what I'm saying, right? Is that there is so much negativity towards this that I would be shocked if this continued to move forward with the FAA and with DJI potentially, with the FAA going with DJI's idea of how to handle this. I would be absolutely shocked if it went forward in its current state and if it wasn't changed at all.
But here's the other problem with DJI's proposal. While it's great because it's free and it's already readily available, if they can say how they're going to maintain this data, how they're going to maintain the data. And the other thing too, like I said, that's all well and great. They have a solution, but the problem is if it's proprietary to DJI, it does us no good. If you're going to create a solution, right? Drone to Phone, the application and what they created, they made it seem like it was proprietary.
And it would make sense, because why would you go to a DJI app to find an Autel drone?
Right.
And
so again, because the FAA doesn't give a shit about one brand or the other, if it flies, it's a drone, right? So
Yeah.
if DJI is coming up with a concept as a solution for, the remote ID, obviously, one, you can't pull a Microsoft and say, well, hey, it's only our drones. Like that's not going to work. That would never fly. No pun intended. But they would have to propose something, and it almost needs to be an alliance between manufacturers. If you create a drone, you have to maybe, as a manufacturer, pay into this alliance. That's the way I think it should work, like sort of like an actors guild. If you're creating a drone, if you're a drone manufacturer, you pay into this alliance. Your drones become certified within this alliance and implement a universal solution. A standard, just a standard. It's got to be a set standard that everybody agrees on, and then okay, all right, if that's what it's going to come to save the ability to fly and continue to operate, because like you and I, we operate a business. Mm-hmm. We use our drones to make money. This is not just a hobby, it's a livelihood. So if that's what it's going to take to save it, great. But it can't just be a DJI solution, although they are the only ones that are bringing anything to the table. But again, they're the only ones with the massive infrastructure to do this.
Yeah.
And it's just not how business works in America, where they're like, oh, sorry, hey, we're better. It's not going to work like that.
Here's something interesting I see. This is the top comment on Drone Valley's video. It says, bottom line, ID me to authorize, okay, I read this a little bit wrong, but I think that it's still going to be fairly similar. Bottom line, ID me to authorities upon request, fine. But if anyone can go on an app and see my current location, it is unacceptable. Now, look, again, I think that my drone being up in the air is common knowledge. And,
right.
Okay, if somebody can see where my drone is in space without any information being given out, I'm okay with that, because at the end of the day, I'm not looking to spy on people. I'm not looking to fly in secrecy. I'm putting my drone up in public, whether I'm flying for business or whether I'm flying for fun. And if somebody can see it on an app, okay, who cares, right? But imagine if somebody wanted to get more information on that drone, they could submit a request, and then I, as the operator of that drone, could see who that person was, why they wanted my information, and then I could choose what information to share with them. I mean,
on a video I did, I think it was actually a live stream, I had suggested a option to provide information. It could be, you can have canned responses to where you can instantly give somebody a canned response as to why you're flying, or after a flight is through, then you can respond to that person. Or if the person doesn't deem that the response is adequate, they can escalate the response.
Yeah.
Seemed to be a pretty good solution. I mean, for me personally, I would rather just the FAA just come out and be honest and say, hey, we're implementing this simply because we predict there's going to be so much air traffic in the future, and we just cannot risk potential catastrophes. If they came out and were just a little bit more transparent about why they're doing this, and say it has nothing to do with accidents, but corporations are going to be utilizing specific airspaces, and you know what I mean. It's just it is what it is.
Could you know what I think I need to do? I think that I need to make a video just like 51 drones, just like Russ. I need to sit there with my black paper and do a commentary and a voiceover and just look at the camera. There's no response from you. What's up? Cat got your tongue?
No, I'm sorry. Because I made a comment on Rick's video and he was responding to me. I just never go back because I don't get notifications. So I had found the comment, just scanning through, and I was just reading his response. God bless that guy. That's all I gotta say.
I haven't.
Good funny guy.
Besides this podcast, I haven't spoken out about remote ID, and I'm thinking that I should make a video on it.
You should, man. You should. There's enough of people in your, again, and it's funny because we automatically all assume, because we talk about drones, that your audience watches my videos and my audience watches your videos, and likewise across the board. But we can't assume that, and you don't know what. You may have great success where you put out a video on it and it just takes off and it hits the right people's hands that need to see that information. So So I think the more videos, the more constant flood and pressure, because again, it's 224 right now, almost 225. We have till Monday. And actually, I think the comment window closes Monday. And then it's going to sort of be, waiting, that uneasy feeling that you're going to be sitting there waiting to see, well, how is the FAA going to respond to this? And this is my measure, my barometer of the whole situation, is if they respond relatively quickly, our comments meant absolutely dick. If they take their time to formulate a plan and to, delegate a response, I mean, if we don't hear back from them for like 3-4 months or something like that, and they've legitimately read through each comment, good, bad, or indifferent, then maybe it wasn't a waste of time, and it was, it was worth making the comment. But we'll have to wait and see. That's going to be the toughest part. The comment then is easy, but sitting and waiting is, that to me is just the most unnerving feeling. But I think it's the glimmer of hope too. People need to understand, it's just because the comment period is going to be over, nothing's set in stone for a long time still after that. 2 years is when things are supposed to be implemented.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find this link right now, which is not coming up on my computer, and that's been like a problem. It's hard to search for certain things. All right, I see it here. There is an FAA protest if you guys want to go to it. I'll drop this in here. I'm thinking about going. My girlfriend doesn't want me to because she's afraid. Going to a protest and making a video, I feel like I might be able to reach more people by doing a video because, the internet is just helpful. But if you guys go to helpsaveourhobby.com, you guys can get a lot more information on this. Again, that is helpsaveourhobby.com. They go over everything that's happening, the picket line, the people who are going, why it's happening, wow. They got a whole entire schedule on here. Music as rally gathers, rally orientation, picketing actions, speakers on the NPRM, music for lunch. I don't know. They've got a whole entire schedule here.
Where is that taking place?
Washington, D.C. So it's right in front of the FAA headquarters in the city of Washington, D.C.
And when is that happening?
That is February 29th. And I just want to say this to clarify it because it's on this website. Don't bring your drone because you can't fly a drone in Washington, D.C. And that'll just help. It'll help prove their point. So keep your drone at home if you plan on going.
That would be so cool to go to that, man. It's February 29th. I wonder if I can get a flight out Friday night.
Yeah, check it out. What you got?
Like a super late flight Friday, and then just fly back Sunday because I got to be in Palm Beach. But I mean, I wouldn't mind doing a whirlwind trip up there.
Driving down to Washington, D.C. from Philadelphia is very easy, depending on the time of day.
Oh, going back is going to be a pain.
This is on Leap Day, which is kind of funny, right? February 29th. But I want to bring that up because if you guys want to go ahead and check it out. Again, it's helpsaveourhobby.com. Get some more information on it. I think that going and leaving a comment is probably just as helpful as going to this protest here. And this isn't directly protesting DJI. This is protesting the FAA's idea of remote ID as a whole. So there's really no reason to go after what DJI is thinking, but the FAA is the ones that kind of brought this up in the first place.
Yo, round trip, $150. Should I do it?
I don't know if you want to.
That's pretty good, dude. My flight back home wouldn't be too. Wait a second. Tampa to Philly. I can get a flight out at 6:33 on Friday, and be up to you by 9.
Let's talk about it after the stream, or after the podcast. So, look, overall, man, it's such a shame to see that this is becoming such a pivotal point with drones. I see so many people saying they're gonna exit the hobby and stop flying, whether it be for business or whether it be for personal recreational use. And it's just such a shame that what I think is just such an innocent thing to do is really being demonetized. I'm definitely saying that wrong. It's being consumed by corporate entities and by the power, the longing for power. I always thought that it was kind of ridiculous that, to work with your drone, you needed to take this Part 107 test. And if you want to take photos of a house and you're not even going to be like over 80 feet in the air, well, you need to literally apply with the FAA to fly this drone. And I know that these drones are capable of so much more, because especially when I bought my first Phantom 4, I was like, whoa, this thing has a lot of power behind it. And you can cause some serious damage, but there's got to be another way. There has to be.
I agree, and we're just gonna have to wait and see how this all plays out. But I mean, I think that protest is it could be a good thing. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I don't know. It's depressing, to say the least, but I think ultimately it's all gonna pan out. I mean, everything always seems to, anyways. I mean, we're always freaking out about something, whether you're, you're a hobbyist, you're flying a drone. I mean, we dealt with all this crazy hype around the COPPA and the California Online Privacy Act, for months leading up to January. And what happened? Nothing. Nothing's changed on YouTube. Everybody still has their channels. So I mean, a little different scenario, but still, I think things will be okay. I see comments every day how people are like, "I'm selling my drones. I'm getting out of the hobby." Hold up, wait just a sec before you go and hit the bail button. Let's see how this plays out, because regardless, no matter what happens tomorrow, we still got about 2.5 years. So I mean, I'm very much like, if I was on the Titanic and it was sinking, I'm gonna be like sitting at the buffet eating until the ship sank, type of thing. I mean, that's how I am. I'm that guy. I'm gonna be sitting until it sank.
I'm thinking that it's kind of gonna be something where you can only talk about it so much, and maybe some people think that you can't talk about it enough because they just want to get the word out. But at the end of the day, like everything we've said in this video and in previous videos, just have it's
got to be articulated well,
I think that we made a video about why remote ID isn't so horrible, potentially. That might have been one of our podcast topics. And I think that it's good to kind of look at this whole entire topic from this whole situation from both sides, because there is certainly an argument to be made for why we need something like this, but there's also a huge argument to be made as to exactly how it needs to be done, because in its current state, it's not it, Chief. It's not it. So let us know what you guys think about remote ID as a whole, from the FAA standpoint, from DJI standpoint. If you guys are listening to us over on YouTube, you guys can just go ahead and leave a comment down in the comment section below. Or if you guys are listening to us on any other podcasting platform, you can reach us on Twitter and Instagram. My handle is @BillyKyle on both platforms. Ken, I think you're at Original Dobo on both platforms, right?
Yeah, I'm at Original Dobo. And like, hey, when you guys tweet at us, like, we're not DJI tech support though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I do get a lot of people asking me, and like there's certain, like, people will ask about like a certain question for DJI drones, and like some of them are very easy to answer, but other people are talking
some
about
complicated.
Man, some of them are talking about things that I don't even think that a support member from DJI would know, and it's just like, oh man.
Sometimes I'm like, when you can answer the question, I feel like, I don't know, like I should send DJI a bill or something.
I know, for real. Like for every question that we get, should we like contract them out, like invoice them?
I don't know. But you know what? That's the cool thing about this hobby is there is so many different people to reach out to, and on both sides, because again, not only is this affecting people who fly camera drones, it's also going to impact people who fly FPVs. So this would be one of the few times you'll see, FPV and camera and hell, even the RC pilots sort of unite together to hopefully derail this proposal. So yeah, I think that sort of wraps it up.
Yeah, I'm tired, man. I'm gonna get some sleep. Ken,
I heard that.
We're definitely gonna continue on with the podcast. Sorry for the lack of uploads for the past 2 weeks.
we've just been really busy. There's just so much crap that keeps going on.
Yeah.
Like, we've just been really busy. I think our personal lives have been really busy. I know work for me has been absolutely nuts.
I mean, look, I'm in this podcast for the long haul, and if we go like a week without uploading, we're sorry.
Not a big deal.
We really have tried, and it's just not worked out with one of our schedules. But we're in this thing for the long haul. So if you guys are here, and if you're watching us on any of the platforms, thank you guys for tuning in. And also, if you guys go and check down in the description, and if you're like, oh, I wish you guys were on this platform, chances are we are. We're on a lot of the major podcasting platforms, so give us a look over there. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.
Next time, guys. See you later.
Stay original.